I envy my colleague with black envy. I'm very bitter. I feel like a loser, and I don't want to live like that anymore. From the very beginning, I felt that I was a superfluous person in this life. I had no friends. My parents did not try to understand me either. Recent systematic beatings from my father, bullying from classmates, nagging from teachers. I hated myself and everything around me. It was hard. It seemed like the whole world was against me. No one wanted me, including myself. Untalented, stupid, ugly. Eyes like me. I wasn't exactly ugly, but everyone ran away from me in the end. Capricious and flighty character, mixed with a mountain of complexes and the constant demand for attention, anyone would turn away. And so, I became an adult. I began to work on myself. So many years of work with psychologists, a lot of books read and bumps filled. I learned to be alone and rely on myself for everything. I stopped communicating with my family, who humiliated me, began to defend personal boundaries, tried to adequately respond to barbs and rudeness, although it was given with great difficulty. I still do not have friends. It is too hard for me, but there is my beloved husband with whom we are alone at each other's place. We support and help as much as we can. We fight, of course, but we always find a compromise. But we have not been able to be parents for several years now. Both of us are in good health, and IVF hasn't worked out either. I try not to despair, try to take my mind off it and move on with my life. I convince myself that children are not synonymous with happiness. But the longer I try to do this, the more I don't believe myself. But what bothers me the most is the inner discord. I had a good conversation at work with a girl with a similar problem. Infertility, except that she and her husband ended up having a successful pregnancy. She is so happy. Very fond of children, often was a counselor at a children's camp, helped with her nephews. I'll be waiting for her little girl, and I can't see her anymore. I can't cope with my burning envy and hatred. So, we were each other's comfort, and now I feel like the same complex teenager cornered again. I can't understand why I'm so jealous of her. Such black envy. I care at all. This situation has brought such strife into my life that I've been crying at night for months now, not wanting to live and being in a state of sleepy apathy all the time. Everything has lost its colors and turned into one big pain. I stopped communicating with this girl, and I'm waiting for her to go on maternity leave. So I don't see her, but I still often visit her page, see her pictures, and quietly hate myself. It's not about her. Myself. It's about me. I understand, but I still can't do anything. My husband doesn't understand. He believes we'll have our own happiness, but I've already given up. Just years of therapy for nothing. The psychologist says that if now I am not happy, the child will not help. That I need to find harmony with myself. And just want to lock myself away from everyone and see nothing and no one. I'm scared. I'm tired. And bitter. Thinks very bitter. It seems that everyone around me gets everything they want, but not me. I just wanted to talk. Thank you for listening. The comments. Anna, I envy you. You got a beloved husband, and I did not. I also do not have a child. So not everyone got what they dreamed of except you. But I have hope that things will change. Everything changes in life. Today it is, and tomorrow it may not be. And vice versa. So appreciate your husband. Also, I heard that a person's health depends, among other things, on whether he maintains family ties. They should not be broken. Reconcile with your family. Learn to forgive. Like Xenia. How can you be so sure that with the birth of a child, everything will shine bright colors? Children are born different, often not healthy or with heavy burdens, and then turn the lives of their parents into hell. Arthur, be afraid of your desires. No one knows what is good or bad for them. Appreciate and thank fate for what you have and who is around. If God gives you a child, you will have one. If not, you will not. The joys and sorrows, they're series and are our whole life. And happiness, I do not even know something ephemeral. It makes no sense to envy other people's lives. How do you know what will happen there tomorrow? Live your life with dignity, if possible, without poisoning yourself and everything around you, and you will have peace and quiet. Once my older sister, a teacher and psychologist, rocking her son in her arms, told me with a smile of gloat on her face, "You do not know what happiness it is to hold your child in your arms." She said that a couple of days after my husband and I had buried our first son, and my sister and I had sons the same year, a couple of months apart. Oh, how it hurt me to hear that from the mouth of a family member, also on purpose. Why she hurt me like that, I don't know. As the years passed, God gave me the grace to be a mother, and more than once. My sister lost my nephew, my only son, not long ago. But only then, she suffered the same grief that no one, no matter what, could ever wish for. I survived it, and I understand her like no one else, and I forgive and pity her. Be very careful what you think and say. Don't wait for your reward, better for the good than for the bad. Agnes, author, didn't the psychologist tell you that the only benefit, and a questionable one at that, from your mood is his steady income from consulting with you? A hospitable host puts the best he has on the table. What do you have at dejection and self-pity? No one wants such viands. Laziness. There are people who do not allow themselves to be happy, punishing themselves for being untalented, stupid, and ugly. They are capricious and flighty, feeling unworthy and guilty. That's the impression I get from your story. Each envy should be fought or directed in a good direction, and it seems as if you are reveling in it, allowing it to consume you, giving yourself something to be punished for. Think about it. Your psychologist is right. A child will not make you happy. Instead, you can make the child unhappy by burdening them with that responsibility. Perhaps he is afraid of that, which is why he doesn't come. Anna, I was so bitter to read your confession. I can feel the pain, despair, frustration, and helplessness. It takes a lot of courage to admit that you are so jealous of someone. I think this is normal in your situation. There is no one to blame. I sincerely wish you strength and patience to overcome these feelings of emptiness, powerlessness, bitterness, and disappointment. It is very hard. So may you do well with or without children, and the feeling of envy will gradually be replaced by a sense of joy for your friend. Sandra, the author. I have been happily married for 7 years to my beloved husband. We have an apartment, and both of us are healthy, but we still have no children. However, I can't even imagine being jealous of the kids. They took through my nieces. Despite not having the best relationship with my sister, my husband and I rejoice like little children when people close to us, and even acquaintances and neighbors have children. We are both adamant about EVS. I've been ready for foster children for a long time, and I'm sure my husband is about to agree to my decision. And while in our case you can really say that fate is somewhat unfair, I'm sorry, are simply not ready for motherhood. Simply put, you only have a sense of inequality. Why does someone else have it, and I don't? And you don't need a psychologist, but a psychotherapist, because your hatred of the world around you has reached serious proportions? Clara. Clara, awareness is a big step towards healing. Actually, the negativity and irritation that you feel towards your coworker is your own repressed dislike of yourself. It's an irritation from the inability to change the situation for the better. You need to learn to accept yourself for who you are and to love yourself, even if you are not able to have a baby yet. The psychologist told you everything correctly. Go on with your therapy and exhale. A baby is not a panacea for unhappiness and not the meaning of life. Until you love yourself, there is nothing to do with a child. Sophia, one of the reasons why you can't conceive is because you're very stressed. I had a coworker who could not get pregnant for 4 years for this reason. When she and her husband moved away from her mother-in-law, who was blowing her mind, everything worked out. Relax and think about the fact that you are living with your beloved husband, that a lot of the sadness and grief in your life is behind you and has become just an unpleasant memory. Your colleague doesn't really stand out in any way, so stop envying her.